Hey guys, How's111 back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome to round 3 of our MotoGP 2013 season review as we head for the first of 4 Spanish Grand Prix that are on the calendar, this time at Jerez, and we had a thriller at the start and at the end of this one. Danny Pedrosa got the whole shot into turn 1, Lorenzo passed it back in a crazy move on the first lap, but soon after Pedrosa got him back and pulled off into the distance while Lorenzo was trying to fend off a very, very eager Marc Marquez. Marquez was doing all kinds of crazy shit to try and get past Lorenzo. It was something, it was insane. There was nothing else like it. Like, Marquez looked hot, and he was determined to pass Lorenzo, but Lorenzo had some great defensive riding and was able to hold on through the first Marquez, bombardment or armada, you could say, till the middle stages of the Grand Prix. Marquez wound it off a little bit to try and maybe save some of his tyres. I think that's becoming a bit of a trend in MotoGP now, where in the middle phase of a Grand Prix, riders will deliberately go much slower to try and preserve their tyres. Reminds me of some other sport I track. But anyway, with about 7 or 8 laps to go, Marquez started to wind it up again to try and chase down Lorenzo from 3rd into 2nd place. And with about a lap to go, I called this on Twitter. I famously called this on Twitter. I called it with about 3 laps to go that Marquez would try a suicide dive on the final lap. And I was right. Twice. On the final lap, Marquez, on the run down the hill towards the hairpin, the first of the 2 major hairpins on the track, he tried a desperate down the inside move on Lorenzo. He got it, but he couldn't hold on to it. He ran wide. Lorenzo got him back, but Lorenzo had major tyre issues. Marquez was able to catch back up again, and on turn 12, the now renamed Lorenzo corner, Marc Marquez pulled something that, like Valentino Rossi did on Sette Gibernau back from 2005, where he planted the bike in a position where he was never going to make the corner. He deliberately came in too hot, made contact with Lorenzo, who was also trying to make the corner, barged Lorenzo wide to the point where he had to run off the track. And Marquez pretty much bullied his way through for 2nd place to beat Lorenzo down into 3rd. A crazy ending, very controversial. Lorenzo was shaking his head after the race and was having nothing to do with Marquez after the Grand Prix. Marquez was very honest. He said, yeah, it was a bit unfair. But that's racing, and it's happened countless times before. But he tried to apologise to Lorenzo. Lorenzo gave him the Kimbe Mutombo wagging finger. No, this isn't going to happen, basically. And they're now saying that Marquez could face a penalty from Dorna, the organisers of MotoGP. There's a brand new penalty point system in place for this MotoGP season, where Dorna can hand out anywhere between 1 and 10 penalty points for dangerous riding or causing incidents or things like that, similar to how co-masters work Formula 1 with their penalties sometimes, or for causing collisions and whatnot. They can hand out anywhere between 1 and 10 for any race-given incident, and the way it works is if you get 4 penalty points over the course of a season, because they're cumulative, Marquez would have to start from the back of the grid. If he got 7, he'd have to start from the pit lane, and if he got 10, he'd have to start... Sorry, take that back. He gets a 1-race suspension if he gets 10 penalty points. I don't think he should get a penalty. I think it was very firm but fair racing. And other riders like Valentino Rossi in the past have gone away with shit like this all the friggin' time. It's part of what makes this sport so great. So, in my opinion, he shouldn't be penalised or punished for it. But you could see it might happen. Obviously, if anything happens along that line, I might make another video about it down the line, or obviously some annotation to correct myself. A quick rundown of the rest of the field. Valentino Rossi came 4th. Another quiet ride for Val, just not on the same snuff as Pedrosa, Marquez, and Lorenzo. Cal Crutchlow 5th, obviously hurt from qualifying, still where he hurt his back. It's a very solid ride for Cal yet again. Alvaro Bautista in 6th, solid ride from the other Spanish guy in the grid. There's quite a few actually. 7th for Nicky Hayden for the Ducati team, good ride from him. Dovizioso in 8th, and look at this, in 9th, Alice Espargaro from, I've got to find the guy's name right by the way, 9th place, a fantastic ride for the CRT Aspar team. Give this guy a better ride, the guy is insane. Bradley Smith rounding off the top 10 ahead of Mikel Pirro for 11th. Hector Barber at 12th. Michael Laverty in the points for Paul Bird Motorsport in 13th. Petrucci 14th. And Edwards gets a point in 15th place. 5 guys dropped off the bike as well, which was quite bizarre as well. Stefan Bradl for LCR, Andrea Iannone, Lucas Pesek, Randy DePugny, and Yoni Hernandez sadly all dropped it. But I'd love to know what you guys made of Marquez's pass on Lorenzo. Was it unfair? Should he be penalised for it? I would absolutely love to hear your opinions on this one. It's exactly this kind of controversy which makes motorsport what it is, because things like this happen. And you know, is it unfair? Is it greedy? Was it a bit naughty? Has Lorenzo got a right to be pissed? Let me know what you guys think of the race and obviously of that in general, and I'll catch you guys next time. I've been Harris101. Thank you very much for watching, and sayonara.